Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, hello. So I'm in my living room now, so I hope the connection is better here than in the other room in my study. So it will work better, I hope, today. But you never know. So.
Thank you, Anna, for a great day yesterday. It was really very inspiring and everything worked well. Some technical problems, we cannot avoid them in these days, but it was really a good day. We talked about it earlier today.
Thank you very much. It's very kind. I also thought it was a very, very interesting day. So many different groups presenting interesting things. I really enjoyed it as well. You see, the thing is that I never work with teams, just in our conferences I did with my students. We usually use a different system. It's called iSurf, and it's more for schools because you can also administer the students really well and things like this. And yes, so I don't have enough practice here with teams. But anyway, we'll manage to do the program. I'm really looking forward to this interview that one of our students is going to make with Mrs. Rielage's husband. And I think the pharmaceutical industry is in everybody's mind today. And I think it's very interesting to learn more about this also for the student and to students, and to see these, how these automated systems work in such an industry. Yeah, I think it's great that he's taking the time.
Absolutely. We're
do
looking
that.
forward. Oops.
Yes,
Sorry.
I do as well. Now I can see you. Good. Yes. Okay, so I've just got the message that Mr. Rielage is there. He's logged in. And yes, good morning, Mr. Rielage. We are so happy that you are taking the time to give us some insight into this world-famous company, Bayer, and that we can learn something about automated systems in the pharmaceutical industry. And as everybody is now talking about pharmaceutical industries and companies in these times, I think it is especially interesting and especially topical that we are now learning how processes in such an industry work, and we are very happy that you are taking the time. We're sure you are a very busy man. This is why I don't want to talk so long, because we are all waiting for you, the film and the interview that you're going to do with us here for our project Robots Are Us. Thank you very much and welcome to the conference. And yes. You have the word, Mr. Rielage.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for having me this morning and giving me the opportunity to talk to you about pharmaceutical industry. Because I think that there's been, as you just mentioned, there's been a lot going on in the past few weeks and months. Everybody talks about vaccinations and jabs and so on. What I would like to do is just give you a small insight. I mean, within this time frame, it's almost impossible to cover everything. So, but I would like to tell you, you know, the basics and why we do things we do them, right? And I'm more than happy to answer your questions. But if you don't mind, I would just start to give you an idea what Bayer as a company deals with and what we do, what we have been doing in the past, well, more than 150 years. So I'll try to share my screen. All right. So basically, as I just mentioned, Bayer has been around for some years. Actually, the Bayer as a company was founded in 1863. So we talk about, I don't know if my math is correct, 158 years of operation. And it was founded by these two gentlemen here, Friedrich Bayer and Johann Friedrich Westcott. Friedrich Bayer was a businessman, and he had lots of business connections throughout Europe, whereas the other gentleman, Mr. Westcott, he was a dyer by trade. So basically, he dealt with dyes, right? You know, that he used for giving color to clothes and so on. And as I said, they founded the Friedrich Bayer company on the 1st of August 1863, and they started off by manufacturing aniline dyes. And they were based in Wuppertal, Germany, where actually one of our sites still operates. Business expanded, they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And in 1895, they started building the Leverkusen site, which is just a few miles down the road from Wuppertal. And basically, they chose this different site to build in new factories because Wuppertal itself just had limited space, so they couldn't expand. And now Leverkusen is a very, very big site, and it's Bayer's headquarters since 1912. So most probably, what Bayer is most recognized for is, of course, aspirin, yeah, painkillers. And if you look at the history of especially this product, I mean, this was invented in 1899. So we're talking about more than 120 years of product history. And here you see on the right-hand side what the aspirin package looks like in comparison to 1899. Well, so Bayer dealt with dyes, Bayer dealt with, pharmaceuticals. And nowadays, we have three main areas, business areas. We talk about crop science, which deals with everything concerning crop protection, seeds, and so on. And we also provide digital solutions to farmers. I'm not very familiar with this business area because I've been working for the past 30 years in pharmaceuticals, where we have a product range of prescription drugs. We call them drugs. Medication, drugs. Don't mix it up with drugs you buy on the street. And we deal with women's health care, with oncology, which means treatment of cancer, hematology, illnesses of the blood, ophthalmology, diseases of the eyes, and radiology. So all things concerning X-rays and so on. That's our business. And we also have a consumer health division where we sell products over the counter. You don't need prescriptions for these products. Like, for example, aspirin is one of those. Some basic data. We have sales of 43.5 billion euros a year. I think that's last year's figure or 2019 figure. We have around 104,000 employees worldwide, and I'll show you where they are in a minute. Bayer invests 5.3 billion euros into research and development, which means looking for new treatments of diseases and for developing new products or new medications. And we are present in 87 countries. So basically, it's a worldwide operation that we run. And here you see where our people are located. I'm sorry, this went too far. The majority is, in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region with 46 or 47,000, and of these, in Germany alone, 25,000 people in Germany work for Bayer. And one large portion of our workforce is based in North America, in Asia Pacific region, and Latin America. And actually, we have two sites in Spain, one in La Felguera, and we also have a site in Turku in Finland. And here you see again distribution of workforce of this in the different divisions, where you can clearly see that pharmaceuticals is the biggest division. And here on the map, you see all these red dots. So basically, we are all over the place, as I said, in 87 countries. Now coming specific to the place that I work for and where I go to work every day. It's here on this aerial view. It's the Bergkamen Site. And basically the part belonging to Bayer is this area here. And actually here in this dotted circle, you can see a building that's actually my plant. So the Bergkamen site is a former sharing site, and sharing was bought by Bayer in 2006, if I remember correctly. And actually this site owes its existence to the fact that, first of all, this site was used during the war to manufacture fuel for aircraft. And then after the war, the site was bought by the sharing company. And sharing was a Berlin-based company, and I don't know if you remember from your history lessons, you know, there was a blockade of Berlin by the Soviet Union, and so the board of management said, you know, if we face difficult political times, we need to have a manufacturing site in the West, and this is why they bought the Bergkamen site. And actually this building here on the site is just let me remove this, is really where all pharmaceutical production started on the site. It's building B101, and it belongs to my plant. And you see several other plants. This is manufacturing plant A, and we gave them, let's say, numbers according to the alphabet. So here we have plant A, here is plant B, C. We don't have D, because it's a distillation. We recycle the solvents that we use for manufacturing, because it makes sense. It's economically sensible, and saves costs, and is good for the environment, because you don't always use new solvents. So basically, in total, 134 people work in plant A. We have in administration, which means plant management, we have 11 people. As far as qualifications concerned, we have 3 chemists with a PhD degree. We have 2 engineers, myself and a colleague of mine with a university degree, and we run this operation in management with bachelor professionals of industrial production, also special qualification. And as you can see, you always see here examined by Chamber of Commerce, which means all the people working in the lab, documentation, our shop floor personnel, they all go through training. They do apprenticeships within our company, and they are examined by the Chamber of Commerce. And then they are experienced, or as we call them, skilled chemical workers. And of these 134, to my area of responsibility, belong around 106 people of these 134. So basically, my job is to take care of production operations. I have to make sure that all the products that Bayer needs are delivered in the right amount, on time, within the cost time frame. That's basically my job. So what we do is, as I said, we manufacture steroids, and these steroids are the active part in the Bayer products. You know, if you go to the pharmacy and get medication, right? That you have, for example, I don't know. Let's say take the vaccine that everybody talks about. You have a vial, and you have a liquid in it. The liquid is most probably, I'm not familiar with this area, but most probably it's water, purified water. But there is something in it that really does the work and the magic, and this is the active ingredient. And this also has to be manufactured, and actually my plant manufactures active pharmaceutical ingredients. These are the parts of the product of the medication that really does the work in the human body. So our steroids are used for, you know, contraception, birth control. They are used for hormone replacement therapy in males and females. We use steroids are basically used for the treatment of inflammation of the skin, and also for the prevention of preterm birth. so you prevent miscarriages and so on. And our APIs are usually powders, white powders, and they are used in pills, in creams, in ointments, and ampoules for injection. So this is basically the product portfolio of my plant. And the equipment that we use are just standard reaction vessels. They are just like, stirred tanks with loads and loads of valves attached to it, with loads and loads of measuring equipment attached to it. And it's all computer controlled. And this is where automation comes in, and I'll tell you something more about it later. We use dryers because we have to dry our product. We use solvents, and we have to get rid of the solvent in order to obtain the powder, the API powder, and this is then dried in dryers. The separation between the solid and the liquid is done in centrifuges that you can see here, and the handling of our products, of our APIs, is done in clean room areas, as some of you might have seen. I think in electronics they also have clean room areas, because we have to make sure that our product is not contaminated. So as I said, our manufacturing processes are computer controlled, and actually also our cleaning processes are also computer controlled. We use equipment for various APIs. So you really have to make sure that the equipment is clean before it can be used for the manufacture of the next API. Because our APIs are administered in doses of micrograms. I'm not talking about milligrams, but micrograms per day to milligrams per day. So any residue in the vessel could cause side effects in the following product. So cleaning is very, very important business for us. Cleaning of the equipment. Any questions so far? By the way, if I use any expressions you don't understand, just interrupt me and ask. But don't hesitate to ask. Just fire away. Okay?
There is a question from Typhoon. Typhoon,
yeah. Go ahead.
Hello. I want to ask if you can make different steroids with the machines. So do you have to change machines if you want to do or make different steroids, or you can adjust the machine so you can make a different product?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a very good question. I can tell you what we do. Well, basically, as I said, we use standard equipment, and as you really pointed out very well, the production processes are not the same for every product. So what we need to do is we need to set up a production line which is specifically designed for the process to be run, right? So what we do is we combine the equipment as needed. And of course, we add pieces like fittings or whatever to the equipment in order to accommodate the process. So basically, we're using standard equipment, but by arranging them, we can run several processes on this equipment. So basically, yes, it's modification of the sequence of equipment and some additional items that need to be fixed to the equipment, and so. But basically, it's all standard equipment.
So it's like it's imaginable that it's like an own small laboratory, only bigger, where you can change the glass pipes to a different kind of machine that's already contained elsewhere, so you can get the reaction of that.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So another. And again, this is really an issue for automation. What we did is we set up standard equipment. This is very, very good and very important advantage, because if you have standard equipment, you write software only once and then load it onto the equipment where you have to use it. If you don't use standard equipment, if you don't install standard equipment, and you have different equipment, for example, 3, 4, 5 types of reaction vessels, then you need to write software for each individual vessel, and that's nonsense. Just standardize it and use standard software, and just load it wherever you want to have it. Simple as that. Are there any more questions?
I don't see any. If I see a hand popping up, I'll tell you.
Okay. Cheers. Lovely. So what I would do is I would like to give you an idea, of what the site really looks like and what we are doing. I have a small film that only lasts for about, I don't know, 5 minutes, something like that. If that's okay with you, I would like to share this with you.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, please do so. Thank you.
Bayer's site in Bergkamen is a specialist in the manufacture of active pharmaceutical ingredients. With a tradition reaching back more than 50 years, it can offer a wealth of experience. Today, the site in Bergkamen is a technological leader with more than 1,500 employees manufacturing contrast media and steroid hormones of the highest purity, thanks to an optimized combination of microbiological fermentation steps and chemical reactions, for which the site is known worldwide. The largest active ingredient plant started production in 1997. Contrast media are manufactured here on 11 floors in 5-shift round-the-clock operations. Production involves a large number of systems, for example reactors, centrifuges and dryers that are combined into a variety of production lines. Some lines produce annual quantities of more than 1,000 tons, while others yield only a few kilograms yearly. Almost half of the workforce is employed in production. This area is therefore of crucial importance for the entire site. Modern process management systems facilitate operation of the machinery and ensure safe processes. Active pharmaceutical ingredient production requires precision. The employees no longer need to exert themselves physically, but their work, monitoring and controlling the production processes, is a huge responsibility. Purity and safety are the top priorities when it comes to filling the finished active ingredients, the last stage in production. 20% of the employees deal with aspects concerning quality control and quality assurance. Using modern technology, they ensure that all manufactured agents comply with the stipulated specifications. Extremely high standards also apply with regard to wastewater purification, for example when separating reusable substances from process water, or at the effluent treatment plant, where biomass is completely removed from wastewater with long white ultrafiltration membranes. Protection of man and nature plays a role in all our activities and is an aspect that is taken into account in all of our considerations when new facilities are planned and later on during operation as well. Bayer also assumes responsibility when it comes to vocational training. With over 150 trainees, the Bergkamen Site is the largest training center in the entire region. The young people here receive a solid start to their professional lives, whether they work in a scientific, technical, or commercial setting. Health is a prized asset. For this reason, medical care is available for all of our employees, encompassing not only treatment of physical and psychological conditions, but also health-promoting activities, including but not limited to smoking cessation, nutrition counseling and medical checkups, to fitness courses, relaxation techniques and back pain prevention. The menu in the company canteen is focused on health as well. A wide choice of balanced dishes ensures a variety of healthy meals. A parent-child office is available for employees who find themselves temporarily without childcare. It has a well-equipped workplace and is set up to accommodate children as well. This helps reconcile family and work life. Bayer's site in Bergkamen behaves in a responsible manner towards local residents, employees and the environment, fully in line with the company mission, Bayer, Science for a Better Life.
Right, that was the short film. I don't know if you noticed, if you you saw a lot of screens in the film. So that's part of the automation strategy. And are there any girls present in the session? Very good. So you saw a lady in the short film. Actually, she and again, you know, working on as a chemical worker is also a job that's open to everybody. So basically, the lady you just saw in the film, she's now senior shift supervisor, and she's responsible for more than 50 people. She trained in Bergkamen as a skilled chemical worker. Then she continued her education, became a shift supervisor, working in shifts in a production plant, and then she advanced to becoming senior shift supervisor. So basically, when you're doing a good job, you can, and there are only just 5 or 6 positions as a senior shift supervisor available on the site, on our site. And I think, well, having one of 6 jobs from, you know, 1,400 jobs available, I think that's quite an achievement. So basically, we also offer careers for girls. So, are there any questions concerning the film? Can I give you some more explanation?
Yes, and not for the film, but I have noticed some questions.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Sebastian.
Where do you see the future of automation in big companies like Bayer?
Yeah, I can give you some thoughts to that. I think the future is, let's say, using more robots, more robotics. We now have actually we have several robots, driving around the site, because actually they are collecting samples. We, as shown in the film, we have to make sure that the quality of our products meets certain standards. And so all our products are analyzed in the quality control department. In the past, there were employees, taking the samples to quality control, for analysis. Now we have robots on the site, really small, car type robots, where you put in the sample, and these robots then take the samples to quality control. So nobody has to walk to quality control anymore. And I think also, and this is currently an item of research within Bayer, to use robots, for example, to handle hazardous materials. As I said, our products are administered, in micrograms per day. And
yes,
when you deal with production, you handle as an employee, you handle material on a scale of several hundred kilos. So if you're exposed to these active ingredients,
yes,
it's not very good. So that's why personal protection is very important for us. And a step further would be to use robots, for example, to fill the products into drums. And this is currently item of research for us. So having said that, you saw in the film, you saw all these screens, And these
Yes.
and these screens are used to monitor the processes. You know, all our co-workers, they look at the screens, you know, look what is the status of the equipment. But there's another aspect to it, a very, very important aspect. Our processes are registered with health authorities. We can't do what we want. We have to run our processes as we have submitted them to our authorities worldwide. For our processes are registered in the United States with the FDA, with the German health authorities, with the health authorities of Finland, worldwide. So we can't just go so we can't just change them. It's not allowed. We have to run them according to our submissions. In order to prove that, we have to record data, awful lot of data.
Okay.
This helps us to prove every time that we run the process as it was submitted to health authorities. But there's another aspect, and this is where what's nowadays called data mining is concerned. You look at this data, and you can use it for process optimization. You can look at the data and say, no, look, why did this process step take so and so long? You can identify bottlenecks in the process, and then be creative and say, you know, if we schedule the production differently, we can make more product out of the same equipment. So this is also very, very good field of investigation. Actually, on the site we also have at the moment we have some data scientists. All they do is look at data, evaluate data. Where can we optimize our processes within the framework that we submitted to the health authorities? So that's where I see this is most probably one of the areas that really becomes more important. And of course, training is very important. If we talk about, you know, everybody talks about virtual reality. You can also use it for training people. Or you can use enhanced reality for training people. You know, all these aspects together, I think they become more important in the future.
And I have another question. Do you train young people on the job, or do you only have experienced and skilled personnel?
Well, first of all the shop for personnel that we are employing, they usually go through an apprenticeship within our company. So this apprenticeship lasts for 3 to 3.5 years, and they are trained for their job within this time frame. And after the end of this training, they have to pass an examination by the Chamber of Commerce. And after they pass this examination, they are employed by my company. In the meantime, of course, they are taught, you know, theoretical knowledge, but they are also working in the plants just to get familiar with their work. So basically, yes, we train our own people up to let's say the examination by the Chamber of Commerce, but then additional training comes in, because every production plant has its own special equipment. So you need to train on the job, and this is also done, but this is done within the plant. So we also have a training scheme within the plant.
All right. Can a young school leaver with A-level do an apprenticeship at Bayer and study at the university at the same time? We in Germany call that dual study.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's possible within Bayer. As far as I know, it's possible in the business administration field, commercial field, computer science, and mechatronic engineers, I think. So these are the main areas that we do that. It's I don't think you can do it if you are a chemical worker. But usually our chemical workers, they go on and continue their education and become technicians. They become engineers. You know, it's very good with a practical background to study, because when you start studying, you really know what you're talking about because you've seen it in reality.
Yes. Which skills and competences does a young person need in order to work successfully in an automated company? Like,
well, first of all, I think it's a good idea not to be afraid of computers, right?
Okay.
You really, when you're dealing with computers, and as you saw in the film, screens, you monitor the processes. Sometimes you have to punch in figures into the computer system. You must have a passion for detail.
Yes.
Because these systems are very, very complex, and you need to know. But at the same time, you must have a general overview of what's going on in the plant. You must be happy to drive changes and optimizations. If you're the type of person to say, okay, it's working, leave it like that, it's not good because you don't develop. You have to be able to learn from setbacks, and let's say, and yeah, I learned this from that, and I will do it better next time. And of course, you have to be flexible because the environment that you work in constantly changes. New rules that we have to comply with come in on, well, I won't say on a daily basis, but on a regular basis. So we have to change our operations sometimes, you know, to comply with these rules and regulations. So really, you must be in the spirit of you know, continuous learning. That's very important.
Yes. I have a last question.
Mm-hmm.
Are only skills in the field of engineering, automation, and IT needed to be successful employee? Or do you see the future competences needed in the cooperation between man and machine?
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, having a good background in, for example, engineering, automation, or IT, you know, really is an advantage and helps. But there are other things. First of all, you're not working on your own. You're working in the team. So you have to be a team player.
Yes.
And if you want to be successful in a team, of course, you have to treat everybody with respect, regardless of rank, hierarchical status, gender, religious belief, or whatever. It's the work that counts and the person that counts. And this is what we really, especially in my plant, what we really put emphasis on. You know, you can be a brilliant engineer, a brilliant skilled chemical worker, but if you behave socially unacceptable, it's just not worth it. It's all in vain. So you really have to fit into the team, and again, treat everybody with respect. You have to enjoy your work. And the advice I can give you: choose an area where you want to work. You know, if it suits you. If you go to work each day and you say, "Oh my God, this is a drag. I don't want to go there," you won't be successful. Just choose where you're good at, where you think, "Yes, I can change things." Because if you enjoy it, you will. This will drive excellence. And what we really need is our excellent people, because because we sell products that the consumer relies on to be of very, very high quality standard. You know, if you go to the supermarket and buy your food, you don't want bad food that will give you an upset stomach or so. And the same applies to pharmaceutical products. You have to trust you have to trust the company that the product is okay. And this is what we work for each day. We make sure that the product is okay. And we are able to prove it. And this is why we need dedicated people to work for us.
Okay, all right. Mr. Rielage, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us. You have given us a lot of insight into automated work process and how a modern employee can contribute to successful work process and modern production development, and train for an interesting future-oriented job. Goodbye.
Thanks very much. Just allow me to point out one more thing.
Yes.
If you're interested, just in case you're at some point in time of your life interested in working for Bayer, go to the Bayer website. It's bayer.com. And we also have a careers page, and you can access this via this website. Just have a look around. There are lots of jobs available in all different countries. So it's not just it's not just something for Germans, but also for everybody, basically. All right. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you. And thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Don't say bye-bye yet.
Oh,
Not so
I thought we are done. Sorry, I didn't know. Okay.
I remember that you volunteered that if there are some more questions, except the ones that Subhakan prepared in advance, that you are willing to ask them. So I would really like to encourage everybody in the room, students or teachers from Finland, from Norway. The Spanish are not here this morning, sadly. Just if you have some questions regarding Bayer, regarding vocational training, regarding automation in a workplace, or something else you always wanted to ask, please feel free to do it. Just raise your hand and then I will tell you that you can go ahead. Okay, Johannes, you raised your hand. Please put your question forward.
Yes. Lately, I've been seeing some videos on AI engineering pretty much everything. So they get data that they're supposed to meet, and the AI is pretty much crunching the numbers and doing the job of an engineer. Do you think that the job of an engineer, so like a mechanical engineer, is going to get replaced by AI in the near future?
No, never. I don't think so. You're manufacturing not in a virtual world. You're manufacturing in reality. So sometimes equipment breaks down. It needs to be repaired or replaced with better equipment. So who is the guy to look for better equipment? The mechanical engineer. It's simple as that. We always look out for better equipment that do things more efficiently for us. So again, this is an area of expertise of a mechanical engineer. Having said that, the mechanical engineer doesn't work on his own. As I said, we always work in a team. So most probably there will also be a control engineer. There will be a process engineer. So in all these engineers together, they look for the best solution for a given problem or for an optimization. And again, if we talk about chemical processes, you also talk to a chemist. So I think yeah, looking at data, yes, very important because data helps you identify where you have a problem. But the solution to the problem, I think it's still one of the main tasks of engineers.
Okay, thank you.
So anybody else, please don't be shy. There's somebody from Lofoten who wants to say something. Gisle, your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. A product like aspirin, which were invented over 100 years ago, has that product changed during the time, or are you able to change the product, or is it set when you kind of register the product, or how is it?
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's a very good question. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to explain that. Of course, we can change processes because as every government does, they really put cost pressure on us. So we have to become more and more efficient, and this can only sometimes be done by changing processes. But this has to be done in an orderly fashion. You can't just change a process and then manufacture the product and then put it on the market. That's not on. You can't do that. What you do is you change the process, you run trial batches, you run let's say samples of the process, submit the new process to the authorities, together with evidence that the quality of the product hasn't changed by changing the process. And then the health authority decides or approves the change. And only if this approval is available to the company, you are able to implement the changed process in your routine production and supply the market with product from the changed process.
And the product itself, how it works, are you able to change that as well, or is that locked when the product? I mean, how all the ingredients are put together when they are approved. Is it then locked, or are you able to change how the product works?
No, usually, what you do is we have specification for our products, and of course you have to meet the specifications, and these specifications are set. The processes are fixed. Again, you go through change management with the health authorities when you want to change process. But if you want to use your product for a different purpose, right, you have to register this purpose with the authorities. Because what we need for our products in order to be able to market them, we need a marketing authorization. And these marketing authorizations are issued by health authorities. So you can't just go, for example, set up your own business, like, for example, in the food industry, you buy food from this place and then just go to the market and sell it. That's not possible. You need a marketing authorization for your products.
When you do research and development and you come up with a new product, how much time do you need when you have this idea for the product to actually be able to enter the market with this new product?
Oh, I think the last figure I heard, but don't nail me on that one. I think it's 10 years.
10 years
from the first. And again, if you for 10,000 compounds tested in research, only one compound makes it to the market. Or the other 9,999 fail because they don't show the desired effect. So this is so it's very time consuming and very much a financial issue. And we are not talking about several millions of euros for developing a new drug, but we talk about billions of euros. And as you saw, the figure that Bayer spends on research and development was 5.3 billion euros a year. So it's very, very expensive. And then, of course, you can file for a patent, so you get protection for 25 years. But again, of these 25 years, 10 are already gone due to the time that you need, for really developing the product until you can put it to the market and get all the manufacturing or the marketing authorizations. So a huge amount of this time is already gone by the time you get to the market.
And for how long time do you think you need to sell the products before you're able to earn money from it? Like, what is the lifetime of your product?
Oh, actually, some of the I can only speak for the APIs that I manufacture in my plant, but they have been manufactured for, I don't know, 50 years, something like that. And of course, if you manufacture for such a long time, you have to do life cycle management, which means you have to look at the processes, because environmental regulations become stricter. So you have to replace some things you need for manufacturing with more environmentally friendly things. Again, this is done in a well-established process and has to be registered with health authorities. And of course, we face tough competition from Asia, because, as you saw, the equipment I just showed you is standard equipment. The know-how is in the processes and how to run the processes. But again, or people from Asia, they study in the United States, they study in the UK, wherever, and they're also very good chemists. They are very good engineers. So this is really tough competition. So we always have to stay ahead of the game. And that's why, again, engineering is for us very important. Research is very important. Just to optimize our processes, come up with new products. And again, if a product is so successful for so many years, of course the margin you earn becomes smaller the older the product is, because you have more competition. But again, it's still paying off, even after 120 years. So actually the plant manufacturing, the API for aspirin is in Spain. It's in La Felguera.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, may I ask a question? As you know, I'm dealing with Erasmus Plus projects at our school at the Leopold-Hoesch-Berufskolleg in Dortmund. And yes, we always look for companies, interesting companies that take apprentices or interns for an internship, like for 3-4 weeks or something, from Norway, maybe from Finland, from Spain, and we also have a cooperation with Hungary. So do you also take these interns for some weeks only from another country, so that we could do this in the framework of Erasmus Plus in the future?
Well, we do. There is. I'm not quite sure about the duration of internships. If there's a minimum amount of weeks required to do an internship within our company, we had several. We had a lady from Spain in my company doing an internship. Basically of course we also have lots of interns from the Technical University of Dortmund, all over the site. Yeah, we do that. That's no problem. And just get in touch with us. It's no problem.
Thank you very much. That's great. I think also interesting maybe for you to hear, the people I can see there in Norway, because we have such a great cooperation with the Aust-lofoten videregående skole, and also in Finland with the EKAMI and the Spanish school in Puerto, Rosario. Yeah, maybe we can do something like that.
Yeah, but if you're really interested in doing an internship in the on the German side, just make sure that you have a certain level of knowledge of the German language. That's very important. Even though our company language is English, of course we work in German on a German site on a daily basis. That's an advantage. I mean, you can get by with English, but getting into contact with people is more difficult if you don't speak German at all.
Yes, thank you.
There is one more question I would like you to answer. You talked a lot about engineers and careers for engineers. I think most of the students listening, because they are attending colleges, have no idea how a career might work for a person who chooses the way to do an apprenticeship and then moves on. Could you maybe give us some figures on that, and maybe what you are able to earn if you make your way through the system?
Oh, that's a secret. No, I don't know.
No. That's not a secret. I don't have. Just let me check if I have the exact figures. Well, first of all, when you do an apprenticeship, of course you're paid. This is all regulated by tariffs that have been negotiated with trade unions and so on. So it's fixed rate, and I'm trying to find the rates at the moment. So once you passed your examination by the Chamber of Commerce, of course you get higher pay when you're a skilled worker. And just let me check what the current tariff is, see if I can find it. So you start usually with grade E6. So basically when you're a skilled, for example, chemical worker, you start with E6, which is roughly 3,200 euros. And this progresses to 3,700 euros, depending on, how long you've been working with the company. So every 2 years you get a pay increase. But this is just the basic salary. If you work on shifts, you get additional payment when you're working on a Sunday, when you're working on bank holidays. And again, you get hardship. We call them hardship allowances. For example, if you have to wear protective gear, this will this is uncomfortable for you. So we come for that, and you get an extra payment for that. So this might add up, I don't know, something about 3,500 to 4,000 euros a month that you will earn. And again, this increases during time. So let's say if we look at this lady now, who in the film, who is a senior shift supervisor, she earns about 6,300 euros because she's grade E13. So that's the range. And this is also the range of where engineers come in. Right, this is the salary rate. So you must not follow an academic career to be successful. There are other ways as well. If you're more practically minded, there's also an alternative. But then again, if you continue your education, if you become a technician, of course, this will reflect in your pay if you get the job and if there are vacancies. Of course, we always need well-trained, well-educated people, well-trained people. And again, if a position is available, of course your qualifications matter, right? If you want to take up a certain position, right? So. Yeah, this is about the size of it. If between 3,500 the lowest and more than 6,000 euros and above, what you will earn per month. And again, if you're working shifts and you become a foreman for the shift, you also get extra 500 euros a month on top of all the other benefits. So this really adds up.
Sounds very good. Yeah, is anybody else there who wants to ask a question? Okay, then I would really thank you very much. I think we've learned so much about the different fields which are also represented by our little project. You told us so much about automation and that you use standard equipment and that you also use standard software, which is then, as I have understood correctly, adjusted to different production processes. And yeah, we learned about robotics and where the future could be when robots transport samples and help to transport the different materials that you are working with to different places. And yes, and I think we also learned something about sustainability, that it's very important for Bayer that you have a wastewater purification system, and that that protection of man and nature is very important to you as well. Something, again, which is a little part of our project when we talked about sustainability in our project as well. And yes, and you even told us about traineeships in the company, which is very interesting for our young people. How can I get into such a fascinating job? And about internships, which could be interesting in European exchanges of students. And you talked about the competences that people need who want to work in this field, in this industrial field, and also working with automated systems and in teams, as you said. And I think that's really brilliant. I'm very thankful for this, for you having you here in the conference and giving us all these very interesting information about that has to do with our project and about this company Bayer, which is world famous. And maybe one day when we have new students coming and Corona is over, I hope we could have the opportunity to visit you and have a look in the factory and see how things are really working directly. And that would be really exciting if we could do that one day with students coming. Thank you very much, Mr. Rielage.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, thank
Bye.
you. And you, bye. Okay. Yes, so this leads us to a break, first of all, and at the same time, the fact that we are talking about that we have to talk about competence today. As you know, we produced a mind map at the beginning of this project, and we want to extend it. We want to put this experience that we have got from Mr. Rielage today into our little mind map. So please use the break. And I think we should do a break of about 20 minutes to think about competences that are necessary to work in such an automated environment, as Mr. Rielage has shown us from the company Bayer. Do you agree to that, or are there any reasons against this decision now to have a longer break and at the same time taking some notes on competences which are necessary to work there or in an automated environment? What do you think of that?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. We don't have any no, we have Niklas Pasalo there. Do you also agree in Finland that your students are taking some notes on competences that are necessary in such a working environment while having a break of about 20 minutes? Do you agree, Niklas?
Yes, we agree.
That's Kari's voice. Okay, good morning, Kari. Okay, good. Yes, and our students as well, please take the time and take some notes on the competences, as I said, which are necessary to work in such an automated environment as Mr. Rielage has just shown us. So, and then we'll meet again at 10 to 11. That's about 8. No, that's wrong. No, it's right. That's not almost 20 minutes, but yeah. So let's say 10 to 11. We're back in the conference. Yes? Okay, thank you very much and see you later. Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, okay, that's fine. I hope you had some time to relax a little bit in this break and to think about these competences that are necessary to work in such a field, in an automated factory, in an automated work process. And yes, I think you should take another 3 minutes to look at your notes so that we can then collect some of those competences later on. Let's discuss this, first of all, what Mr. Rielage said and what you have heard, what kind of competences you need to be successful in a job that works with automated systems. And I will collect these points here, and then we can have a look at this mind map in a minute. So what do you think is most important when you work in such a factory as Mr. Rielage has just shown us? There's Leila wanted to say something. Yeah, Leila? And Tom?
I think one of the most important things is confidence.
Yes, very good. Could you explain this? Why you think so?
Yeah, because there are so many people, and I think, I don't know how to say it in English. Ja, man kann da sehr schnell untergehen. Das wollte ich halt sagen.
Okay, you can get lost maybe in this number of many people that you work with. Yeah, okay. Yes, it's a big company. That's true. Good. So confidence, yeah. Right. Thank you very much. Any more points that you would like to add here? Any more competences?
Dorothee, could you go ahead, and after that it would be Tom.
I also raised my hand. Can you see that?
I know you were the third in line.
He says that teamwork is very important in this company.
Yes. Okay.
So Tom, then it's your turn.
That you're not afraid of trying something new.
So you have to be innovative. Yeah, good. Yeah, very good.
So Typhoon?
I think you should bring some skill and competences with you if you want to work in an automated industry or at an automated workplace, because the work itself changed over the time, and it's very new. I think we all heard about Industry 4.0, that everything is going to be done with robots and programs and everything else, and so that the human itself does not integrate himself directly in the work, because the machines do that, like welding, cars or something else. So that you should have a degree at some point, like a bachelor or a technician or an engineer degree in some cases, but also an apprenticeship is useful, and it really depends on what kind of position you work in the industry.
Okay, so that's more the technical knowledge and technical skills on a high level. Yeah, all right. Any more ideas that you picked up from this interesting interview with Mr. Rielage? There's Typhoon wanted to say something again, or I can see his hand.
I want to say something again, because I raised my hand. I let them raise.
I don't know, was Tom the next one? I can't remember the sequence now.
I've already said something.
Okay, then please lower your hands. Then Subhakan has a new.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, you need self-awareness, because you have to be aware of your ability to do these works.
Would you explain it a bit more? What does it mean? Self-awareness about your abilities.
So if you are an engineer, you have to work with technical devices, like or a machine, and you have to you know about the skills, how to use how to use these machines, and you have to be aware about that. So I think self-awareness is also another point.
Okay, yes, thank you.
For an example, CNC machine or a drilling machine.
Yeah. Okay, so that's again technical knowledge.
So I'm not quite sure whether the hands are new or are just still up. So I'll start with Tom. If somebody doesn't want to say anything, please lower your hand again. Thank you, Subhakan. So Tom, it's your turn.
Why can't I lower my hand?
It's the icon, the hand icon. You just have to click on it again, and then it should drop.
I know. And
so
technically I did this. Why did it raise hand again?
Typhoon. Maybe you did a double click and it appeared again.
Yeah.
So Typhoon, it's your turn.
Yes, I also wanted to say that you should have the ability to adjust, because the workplace is going to change every time. And maybe it's like when you start work, it's like a standard, and you work for that like a time or some years, and then it begins to change again. So you have to adjust your skills, and maybe take a new class or something in that area to stay up to date. And also it's very important that you are interested in that kind of work, so that you are good in it, and so that you already stay in that, and that you inform yourself, that you immerse yourself into that. So I think that's important, because then maybe your chef or your boss sees that you are not only there for your money or something else, but you are there because you like it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think you have already said so many points. So let's have a look at this. I hope I can manage this now. This diagram, the mind map. I have given my, no, I am giving you my screen now. And can you see, wait a minute, I hope you can see it now. Can you see this mind map of competences now?
No, I think we are still seeing Raquel's screen because it says something in Spanish.
Oh, okay. Raquel wanted to join the conference at 11. Okay, so right, so I can ask her whether she wants to show us something now. Wait a minute. Just write a quick message in.
Maybe you could use this time. What about the Finnish and Norwegian students? You had the advantage over the Germans that you could meet in person to discuss competences. Have you found something that you can share with us?
I have the same thoughts as the others. They say the things I already thought, like you have to be interested in the subject and things like that.
And that you understand the system in your facility, and you can work under pressure without getting pissed off when your code doesn't work.
You have to be patient, you mean? Patient with new technologies that you might not, yeah, okay. Yes, I'm listing things up, so.
Yeah. Yes, I think what you meant is the ability that you have to be able to learn from setbacks.
Yes.
Because that's very frustrating. You spend a lot of time and effort in something and then you discover, oh, it doesn't work. And then I think it's very difficult to have the self-constraint to say, okay, tomorrow I will look at it again. I will examine what I did wrong so I can fix it and learn from that. I think it's a very, very important competence in modern workplaces.
I'm Ivan and he's Pablo, and we are going to talk about the subject instruction using the robot. It's going to start Pablo.
Okay. Following all operating and use instructions about the environmental conditions. If the humidity and temperature rates in the environment are too high or low, the robot can be broken. Never manipulate the robot or its part with wet hands. Effects of the sun. Never leave the robot or any part too long under the sun. This is particularly important for batteries. Dust. Keep all parts of the robot clean and without dust. About front of robots. Don't manipulate the Arduino board on conductive surface because conductivity can interfere with the board function. When assembling the robot, remember not to cover the communication device, infrared or Bluetooth, so that remote controller operates properly. Connections. Arduino board. Check the Arduino board work correctly. And the cables, you have to check that the cables are new functional. If not, you must replace them with new ones.
Okay, about your batteries. Voltage. Make sure that the voltage of your battery suits you with the robot parts. The battery condition. Before connecting the battery, pay attention to the battery condition. If it's sour or rusty or damaged, don't connect it. Disconnect the battery immediately it's hot. Battery charging. Before charging your battery, read carefully the instruction both of the battery and of your battery charging device. Battery storage. Thank you.
I got some points here about this robot instruction, but maybe we can watch it again in eTwinning or so later on, or shall we now discuss these points, because I've written some points down. What you have to remember when working with such a robot, safety constructions. Shall we discuss them for a while and then see whether we watch them again another time?
I can give you the text what they have worked in before.
Okay.
Yeah, I can send it to you right now.
Okay. But I think what I have now listed up as notes here from the film is that, of course, you have to make sure, first of all, that you use the robot in a clean environment so that you don't have a dusty environment that can destroy or spoil the functioning of the robot, that it has to be in a dust-free and also clean environment to be able to run it properly. Then it is important that you do not manipulate the special parts of the robot, that you don't change anything from the way it has been built, so that you don't destroy some parts of it accidentally by manipulating cables or sensors or something like this. Then I understood that it's very important to keep the conductivity. So that means that you don't have any materials in between that can change the connections or the conductivity of the sensors and of the parts, so that the robot still gets also the energy that it needs to work. Then I have written down that the infrared devices on the robot or parts should not be covered, of course, so otherwise the robot cannot find its way and cannot get the signals that it needs to find its way and to calculate with the information. So these always have to be free, these parts. Yes, and that you have to make sure that your connection is always safe, so that the robot, either if it is controlled by if it's not in the socket, then it should have enough battery energy there to run, and that if you run it with a connection, then that this connection is safe, not like my internet connection here today, and that these were the most important points that I got from this interview that we just heard. And from your experience when working with your robots and your parts and building them together, do you have any more safety instructions that you could add to these points that I have just repeated from the video? Is there anything else that you made sure in your workshop before you started working on the robot?
I wanted to point out they also spoke about the battery conditions. The battery must be in good condition, and you must make sure that it is okay so that you can use it. And there were some points about the batteries itself as well.
Yes, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have these ideas from other electrical or electronic devices as well that you work with at home. Are there any other environments which are not very good for such a system to run, which are counterproductive to working with electronic devices from your experience? Maybe when you think of climatic conditions that are very different in Spain than from Norway, for example, maybe we can imagine that the performance of the robot is influenced by climatic conditions in different countries. Any ideas to that?
Would you like to see the text that we wrote? I can share the screen now if you like, and we can see it and see if we can add something else.
Yeah, wait a minute. Actually, I think these climate conditions, that's I'm sure that you all know about this. So whether you run the robot in Spain and it's summer, or in Norway and it's cold, snowy, rainy, do you think it has an influence on the way your robot is running? Okay, well then, yeah, Raquel, then please do so and show us the text that the students had performed in the. Gisle wants to say something, I can see. Yeah, Gisle, what do you want to say?
Yes, about this different conditions. So in Norway, we will not be able to use it all the year. All over the year, we have to do it in the seasons when they are not so cold. And so not the robot, we can't use it in the winter time. In that case, if you should use it in winter time, you have to the temperature will influence and snow conditions and everything like that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And if it's -0, under 0 degrees, does it have an influence on, even if it's dry, but it's only cold, is that also a problem for this robot?
Yes, of course, because in a beach it will be ice. This trash will be frozen to the ground, and for instance, it will not able to pick it up.
Yeah.
And the battery capacity.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, I see another hand here, but I don't know who this is. This is Mr. JP.
Yes, it's me, Johannes. Another problem with low temperatures is that the accumulators don't work as good, so you have less battery life.
Ah, okay. Good. Okay, then what about the opposite situation when we are in Spain and it's really hot and sunny? Does that change anything about the performance of the robot?
Yeah, it's more, it has a higher tendency to overheat the electronics, for example.
Yeah. Okay, but I think the Spanish team also built a robot, or at least I saw one at school when I was there before, that ran with solar panels, and so we can also say that, yeah, climatic conditions also have an influence on the way the robot gets its energy. So something that is useful, usable, possible in Spain, because they have I don't know how many 350 days of sunshine compared to northern European countries. So that makes a big difference, and we have to be careful with overheating, as Johannes has just pointed out. Yeah. Okay. Good. I think then, yeah, if you don't mind, Raquel, and you could show us this text, that would be really nice, and we can check whether we have understood these different safety instructions completely from the film that your students have made. Would that be possible now to show that? I will switch my screen off, of course.
I'm here. I was speaking with my closed microphone. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, I'm going to show you. Yes. Okay. And so now maybe you can see the text. Can you see it?
Not yet. Ah,
Not
yes,
yet.
there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Yes.
Okay. I was in fact writing about ice, and we didn't really think about ice. Okay, but it's true. So we talked about environmental conditions, as you said, humidity and temperature, and the effects of the sun and dust, which is most of all the environment that we have here. Of course, ice can be also a problem, and we should add that. Okay, so from the robots that we have built or worked in, we have learned the facts about manipulating Arduino boards on conductive surfaces and not covering communication devices, of course. That was our experience. Maybe there are more points that could be added from the experience that you have gained in your countries when building your robots. We also had something about connections, the cables, which must be functional. And then we had a chapter about batteries that you can read now. And then we had this chapter about the accidents that could happen. This is the part of the video that you stopped.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And yes, there were terrible examples of what can happen if. So you can see them here, for example. It was difficult to think of these instructions for the students. But then we have checked some instructions of other electronic devices, and we have discovered that the most obvious things had to be written, like don't put your cat in your microwave. Those things are written in the instructions, although it is so evident, you must write them in your instructions. So we came back and tried to write things like "Don't drop your robot down" or things like that.
No, but I
Don't
think it's
step on
really,
it.
yeah, but I think these points are still important because it has to do with the warranty. If you buy an electronic device and people don't treat it properly, then of course you lose your warranty. And I think it's important to list even the craziest, or as we think, maybe the simplest things up and to treat this device properly. No, I think it's a very good list, and yeah, I think it's well done. As this part of instructions and safety instructions is something we always have to deal with because we are in a technology field. This is why, but I think yeah, you have listed up many points, and we can see these geographic differences. That's a very interesting new point that we haven't really thought about it beforehand, but it's true. Yeah, very good. Thank you very much for this information and the safety instruction list that we'll also put under our project results. Thank you. Okay. Well, then we've got 11:30 now, and we are having a break until 1. So I hope you have a wonderful lunchtime and you enjoy yourself until we then see each other again at 1 o'clock for the next part. Yes, you have to learn to work efficiently with the computer and with these systems. And I think at our school, the problem at the moment is that we are on Teams and Zoom and iSurf, and I'm mostly on iSurf. It's to me, it's very different and much easier to handle than this one here with Teams. But okay, yeah, you need a lot of skills, and you have the chance to learn a lot of skills as well. Okay, any more points?
I would be interested in hearing from the Scandinavian pupils, because I know that you have a much longer tradition of having some courses online or some higher education courses online, because here in Germany we normally always did them face to face. It was very rare that you did them online. So what's your experience if you do it for a longer time and not just for this emergency situation we are now in?
Information flow is not that good when you're online, because social your face and stuff, you don't see it on the online.
But I can say also that I don't like this method at all, and we don't have so long experience. I rather be there in front of students, and I haven't do this much.
Yes, just like me. But yeah, that's true. I like to be with students and with teachers and colleagues together, and I just love it. But yeah, but maybe the students have more ideas, more pros. I've heard from other. I discussed this with my other classes as well, and for example, one student said, "Yeah, but it's great. I can be in bed, being in your lesson, and I'm still in bed and having a coffee." I think that's fantastic. What do you think about that, my dear students here from all countries? What do you say to that?
You can kind of decide when you want to do your schoolwork yourself. If you want to do it at once, or if you want to wait until just before you have to pass it in.
What about this argument that you can stay in bed and be in an English lesson at the same time? Do you think that's a positive aspect of online learning?
I don't think so. It kind of disrupts the flow, and like for myself, I don't see the bed as an efficient workplace. So I would probably end up sleeping instead of doing the actual work.
So Subhakan, you have a remark as well?
Yes, it is also could be a health hazard, like vitamin D. You will get less vitamin D, or you can, or you if you have to be 8 hours in the screen, you have to be you don't have these sports, or you will not enough sports movement like that.
That's true.
So you mean if you can do your classes from home, you have no real reason to leave your room at all?
Yes.
What I think is even worse is that now in the lockdown, you have school at home, so you don't have the school where you maybe walk, and even all the sport clubs and other facilities are closed, so you don't have any real way to do exercise or do sports when you don't have the equipment at home. And
Yes,
I
that's
think
true.
in that kind of weather that we are in winter, the wet and rainy weather is even more bad.
Yes. You mean that makes people depressed and sad that they don't move and can't go out and nothing? Yeah, that's a good point as well. I think, but if the lockdown were over, maybe at the end of February, some people discussed whether it wouldn't be a good idea to have more online classes, even if everything's fine, there's no corona, everyone's healthy and it's normal again. Would you think that's a good idea to have some part of the lessons online at least? Or would you rather go back to a normal school day like we know it from all those years? What do you think? Is online teaching in part an interesting option for students?
Okay, we have one comment here for that question.
Yeah, only teaching in school, not this home teaching. It's also popular.
Only being in school at school is better. Okay.
Johannes has another comment on that.
Yes, I don't think that it's a good idea to have like mixed lessons because, for example, here in Germany, most schools don't have the internet connection to be able to give online classes. So the teachers have to be at home where they have better internet. And the way from school to their homes is most commonly pretty long, so it doesn't even make sense.
Okay, then Leila is the next one in line.
Yeah, I think that it's better when we are in school because personally I like it way more to talk to someone face to face and that someone teach me when he's right in front of me and not on my tablet or handy or something like that.
Johannes, you want to add something or your hand is still up?
No, my
okay,
hand.
It's down now. Leila, you have another point or no, she's down. So Gisle's hand is up. Oh no. Okay.
Yes, I had my hand up. And there are some positive I think we can add to it. And if students are home for a reason, either ill or they have other reasons, we are able to offer them lessons from school, and we can combine the students who are in the classroom and the students who are home. So that's a new experience, but I think it's valuable.
People don't take it serious.
Blended learning, if you mix those blended learning, if you mix those two methods, this is why I'm integrating this here now. Yes, I think so. When I remember all those years ago, when I started being a teacher, we had no chance to integrate people who were ill at home or something. We had to maybe take them papers to their houses so that they could do the tasks and then pick them up again. So, of course, this is a fantastic way for students not to miss anything, even if they can't go to school for some time. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Thank you, Gisle.
Mm-hmm. So it's Svolvær Khan is upmost on my list, please.
Yes, you are also unable to focus on screens or not able to focus on screens.
Okay.
If you for a long period, if you have an online lesson and for 90 minutes you can hold, your attention can hold for maximum 45 minutes, and then you are not focused on that lesson. so long.
Yeah, good point.
Okay. Typhoon?
I think it's a good way, not maybe for school, but maybe when you go to the university, that the university makes some lessons online, because sometimes people are in the room with more than 700 persons. They are already sharing the screen or the conference from the professor into another room, so that the students can go to university per online meeting and maybe to the lessons with the tutor at personal. Then they can switch that.
Yes, I remember when I was at university, which was in Bochum, and it was built for 10,000 students, and we were 36,000 students. You were sitting in the hallway, you were sitting outside somewhere on a bench, and yeah, we would have loved to have a computer then to be able to listen to what the professor has to say. That's a very good point. Yeah, so you are, yes, you can be outside and you are still in the lesson. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay, are there any more points?
There are more. Johannes has raised his hand, and then Typhoon again, I think.
Thank you very much for
down.
organizing that.
From my personal experience, I don't learn as much here at home compared to school, and I actually work a lot more. So, like time-wise, it's a lot more time that I spend on schoolwork, but I don't learn as much.
Why is that so? What do you think, Johannes? That's a good, very interesting point, because I think that this is exactly the case, but I don't know why this is so.
Maybe it's because you can't focus as much, so you're like distracted by whatever games you have on your PC or something, or other things.
Yes, and I think this is another point that I have realized. If you live together with a lot of people and you don't have your own room, it's very difficult to concentrate on lessons. So so not everybody has got the same chances to attend school, and this is a very important point for me. I think that's terrible. That some people can get more out of these lessons than others just because of the circumstances in which they live. So there is no.
I think for online school to really work, we need a lot better internet around the globe. So in the Scandinavian countries, I think the internet connection is much better than here in Germany, for example. And I think even in Spain, so like in Fuerteventura, the internet connection is much better compared to most of Germany.
Yeah, why is that so? But maybe it depends on the area where we are. I think at our school it's especially difficult because we don't have enough capacity for all the students online at the same time. If you are maybe in a smaller city or town and there's not so many people online at the same time in one school, I think it might work better. But you're right, the internet connections aren't good.
People in the countryside actually have better internet.
Yes.
Right now, because the people in the countryside actually invest in the internet. So like fiber cables.
Optic cable.
Yes, optic cable.
Yes, I think that a lot of students have learned a lot of, and the teacher as well have learned a lot of this home teaching. Because we have to add a lot of technical skills in sort of working in ahead of a camera with more screens and show things and everything like that. So I think we have learned a lot, but I don't think it's the future is teaching from a room without students. I don't think this interaction we are losing is not so good. That's a problem.
Yeah, there are some surveys that have been done so far, and the outcome is simple. So those students who are disciplined and have help and support from the parents and are motivated to learn and love to learn the things, they don't have a problem and they don't have any disadvantages being taught online. But those students who have more difficulties and don't have any support, and have difficult living conditions, maybe where so many people are in the same room. So of course they are the ones who really lose a lot in their development and in their intellectual development and also social development with other students. So this is, I think, a problem. This interaction is very important among people, because you don't only learn facts from a book and not only numbers and letters, but you also learn from people who do something and you can see how they do it, and therefore interaction is very important. I agree to that, Gisela. There cannot be the future that this teaching is only online.
I also thinking about the structure, about you have lessons and breaks and lessons and break, and there the students are mingling and all the things you are losing. I think it's a dimension you are gone, and it's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
What I would like to add is, since I'm teaching also our older students who are becoming technicians, so that are people who already are skilled workers, they're working full time and they come to school for 4 years for 3 nights a week. And they have always asked us in the past years whether we could not at least offer part of the lessons online in the internet, because for them it's the things that came here up in the beginning. Some of them have really long ways. They worked maybe till 4 o'clock and then they have to drive for 3/4 of an hour to reach school, be there till 9 o'clock and then drive home again. Some even have more than 1 hour drive to school. And what they told us was really nice, because I already used my computer quite a lot in these classes and used the touchscreen and the beamer and did my calculations on the laptop. But now in the online situation, I'm forced to do that more and develop more skills. And what these students told me what they really like is, if you're using your computer device for class, whether it's online or face-to-face, it's much easier for students who can't be there, or maybe were just too tired for maybe half an hour or so, that they can get the script written, the calculations written in the class very easily online. And we even did some presentations that we recorded and then put them online as a kind of short film. And what they really liked, they told me, okay, some of them have been out of school for maybe 20 years because they're not now in their mid and late 40s. And they told me, I sometimes need longer to understand something than students who are just 22, 23, have just finished school and are fully immersed still in learning. And if I get the material online and I can record it, I can play it over and over again, or can watch the same segment of the lesson over and over again, and that would really help them. So maybe the solution is that we could take some of the skills and methods we developed in online teaching to put it into the normal face-to-face teaching, just to help students a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you also teach adult students, and they have family and children as well. Maybe they also take the time to have a lesson that you have recorded and then watch it over and over again when they have some time in their free time. They're more flexible to repeat the things. And yeah, that's a very good point. I think
Susanna's point is good, because when you are you have teaching supplemental skills for older students, it's much easier. But if you are learning something from the ground, something it's almost new for a student, it's not so easy.
If you learn something totally new, you mean? Oh, I didn't hear the whole sentence, Gisela. It's not so good if
if you learn something totally new, it's not so easy to do online teaching. But if you are supplemental skills, it's much easier. Because you know the.
What I have found is when I teach online and the students watch a YouTube video where somebody else explains some grammar or some phenomenon, some language phenomenon, I sometimes have the feeling that there's so many fantastic YouTube videos explaining things and we should really use them more, because it's not my voice all the time, it's not my face all the time, so they can see younger people and funny people explaining things, and this is a source that I really enjoy using. You know, so I'll just fix this here, and then, you know, so tutorials, are so much more interesting often, and motivating, interesting, and motivating. They give the students a change, and I've realized some students learn much better what present perfect is, or I don't know how to write a comment or things like this when they use YouTube tutorials, funny tutorials. I like that. This is what I really see as a big support and help. Okay, anything else? Yes, there was one point, that was the question why students why would students advise other students to do an Erasmus Plus project? And I think we can postpone this easily to tomorrow, because tomorrow, when we have all the presentations, afterwards we have the gratefulness phase, the thankfulness phase, where the authorities are there, and then we can still ask the students whether they would advise other students to do an Erasmus Plus project. That could be a nice final as well. I think we don't have to push this now on top of the agenda, because I think we have collected so many interesting points, and we had such a great day. I think we learned so much about the increasing competences in the students. We learned about the real working world and what automation means in the real working world, and what we need, or young people nowadays need, to be able to successfully work and have a career in the new Industry 4.0 working world. I think this is so much that we have done today. And we even collected and reflected upon the way we are communicating with each other now, being online constantly. And I think the students have really brilliantly integrated themselves into the discussion. And we have so many points, good and also critical points that we have to improve or think about in future when there will be more online learning. Yeah, I think that was really great. Thank you very much. And thank you also for supporting me with all the technical things and films and asking students and everything. That was really fantastic. Thank you so much. I think it was a really good day. I enjoyed that, being with you, even if it's only online. It's better than nothing. Thank you so much.